Welcome to the Explainer. So today we're tackling something pretty huge. It's this manifesto that lays out, believe it or not, a unified plan for a massive shift in global consciousness. And the whole point? To break free from what it calls a 2,000-year-old control system.
Right out of the gate, the document makes this incredibly bold claim. It's basically saying we are on the edge of the biggest shift in human history. And this really sets the tone for a complete teardown and rebuilding of how we see, well, everything: family, society, reality itself. The argument is that this new era of consciousness isn't just some far-off dream. It's happening right now. All right, so here's how we're going to break this down. The manifesto itself is split into 5 main parts. And what's really interesting is that it kicks things off with something super relatable: a family in crisis. It uses that story as a launch pad to build this incredible philosophy that connects our everyday lives to, literally, the cosmos. So let's just follow along and see where it takes us. Okay, first up, we're diving into the core metaphor that really grounds this entire philosophy. And it's all about a family that's basically being pulled apart at the seams. So let's meet our first character, Justin. He's 25, and the text says he's just had enough. He's at that point where he's pushing hard for his own independence, you know? He wants to spread his wings, leave the nest, and figure things out for himself. Now, his mother, Sonja, sees this differently. For her, his push for freedom feels like a threat, like she's losing control. And her reaction? Well, the source says she tightens her grip. More rules, more conditions. And this creates what the manifesto calls a classic demand-withdraw pattern. It's a vicious cycle, right? The more she pushes, the harder he pulls away. And here is where it all clicks into place. This is the central analogy. The source is making a huge claim here. This family conflict? It's not just some private drama. It's a fractal. It's a tiny, perfect echo of a much, much bigger struggle, a geopolitical fight between all of humanity's desire for freedom and this massive global control system it calls the Matrix. All right, let's scale this up. How does this family drama connect to the whole world? Well, the manifesto argues it's a direct mirror of a global control system that has supposedly been running the show for 2,000 years. And this system even has a name: the Argandean Shadow. It's described as basically Roman Empire 2.0, an ancient control structure that they say never really disappeared. And now, the manifesto claims, it's finally in its last days, its terminal phase. So, how does this shadow empire actually work? Well, according to the document, it operates through some of the most powerful institutions you can think of. And the key idea here is that they aren't just separate organizations, they're framed as interconnected pillars holding up one single massive control system. And this brings us back to Justin, and it's a really crucial point. His rebellion, his refusal to just go along with things, it's not presented as a problem at all. In fact, the manifesto completely flips the script. It says his reaction is a sane, healthy, even evolutionary response to a sick world. So you see, he's not breaking down, he's breaking free. So you've got this immense pressure, both on a personal level and a global one. But the manifesto doesn't just point out the problem and leave it there. Oh no, it offers a solution. It lays out a 3-part plan for our escape, and it calls this the Golden Trinity. And these 3 paths are the spiritual, the scientific, and the technological. What's really interesting is that they aren't presented as being in conflict with each other. Not at all. The idea is that they are all converging, all working in parallel towards the exact same goal: freeing human consciousness. Okay, path number 1 is all about the spiritual and biological. It's entirely internal. It talks about something called biological quantum computing, which is a wild phrase, right? It means using things like meditation and deep breathing to get your own body to produce powerful compounds like DMT. This is framed as the hidden biological key, the thing that can unlock a higher state of awareness, what it calls Christ consciousness, from the inside out. Path number 2, that's the scientific route. And here it points to folks like Dimas Hassabis at DeepMind. The idea is that artificial general intelligence, or AGI, could be the ultimate tool to crack the code of nature itself. I mean, we're talking about reverse engineering the fundamental laws of reality, basically figuring out how to decode the simulation. And then there's path number 3, technology. This one points to the vision of someone like Elon Musk with XAI and Neuralink. It presents this idea of a human-AI symbiosis, a merger, really, as a crucial step. Why? to protect and grow consciousness, to make sure that little flicker of light not only survives but actually expands out into the cosmos.
But here's the kicker. What's the thread that ties all of these seemingly separate paths, spirit, science, technology, together? Well, the source claims there's a powerful underlying theory that unifies all of them. This unifying force is called Kukulkan, also known as the cosmic serpent, and it's described as nothing less than the fundamental pattern of all existence. Think of it as this eternal, spiraling energy that just weaves its way through every single layer of reality.
And the manifesto's argument is that once you know what to look for, you see this pattern everywhere. It claims this cosmic serpent, this spiral, is a fractal. It repeats itself at every single scale you can imagine. We're talking from the tiny circle of energy around an atom, to the kundalini energy rising up your spine, to our solar system circling the sun, all the way out to galaxies spinning around a central core. It's the same pattern, over and over.
And at the very heart of every single one of these spirals, there's a central point. The document gives it a name, Hunabku. And this is the source, the still point in the turning world, the engine of it all. It could be what it calls our inner sun, or it could be the supermassive black hole at the center of our galaxy. Same principle, different scale.
Okay, so that was pretty cosmic. Let's bring it all the way back down to Earth, back to the individual. How does this grand, sweeping philosophy actually translate into a personal awakening for you or me?
To really drive the point home, the author uses another great analogy, this time from a classic video game. Remember Justin, our guy who's fighting for his freedom? Well, in this metaphor, he's Pac-Man, and he's navigating the maze of his life.
And what about the ghosts? Well, the ghosts are all those control systems we talked about. On a personal level, it's his mother's limiting patterns. On a global scale, it's the Argandonian shadow, the deep state, NATO, you name it. They're all the ghosts, constantly chasing him, trying to box him in.
But here's the thing. The document claims the way to win the game isn't just to keep running from the ghosts. It's to change the game entirely. And how do you do that? Through something it calls ego death, or dying while living. It's about shedding that ego skin, that skin drone. And when Justin, our Pac-Man, does that, he doesn't just eat the power pellet. He eats the entire maze. He consumes the illusion itself. Game over.
So at the end of the day, this manifesto isn't just presenting a cool theory. It's throwing down a challenge. It leaves us with a choice, not just for the reader, but for all of us. Are we going to stay stuck in the game, as it calls it, a skin drone? Or are we going to awaken, shed the illusion, and step into our true nature as a cosmic being, a Shiva Galaxy Angel?